Hello YouTube. Today, this part of the record collection video, we are going to go into by far the largest part of my collection genre-wise, I guess you could say, and that would be rock, just pretty much classic rock since it's, old vinyl. So, we'll get started here. Trying to watch my time so I don't make too long of a video. First up we have Lost and Found by Humble Pie, which is really just their first two albums, As Safe as Yesterday Is and Town and Country. It's their first two albums in one double LP set. I did not know this existed, but I had been looking for As Safe as Yesterday Is for quite a while before I found this, and then I found this, and I found that it was their first two records. So there's the gatefold. So I bought it, and it's pretty cool. I definitely like As Safe as Yesterday Is more than Town and Country. Town and Country is a little soft for my taste. Here we have Smokin'. This is the Humble Pie record that I saw everywhere. Like, I have seen so many copies of this, it's not even funny. And I'd been meaning to pick one up, and this past Black Friday I finally did. Haven't listened to it much. It doesn't have Frampton on it, but I'm sure it'll... If it's as good as I've heard it is, then I'm sure I'll be impressed. Here we have Blue Oyster Cult, the first album. I pretty much got this one because it has Cities on Flame with Rock and Roll on it. I don't know any of the other songs, but, Blue Oyster Cult's another one of those bands that I've really wanted to get into for a while. Just more in-depth than what everyone seems to know, like Don't Fear the Reaper and stuff. But, yeah, they sort of set the foundation for, stoner rock and stuff like that. So, they've always seemed pretty cool to me. And here we have Secret Treaties. This album I have heard before. I think this is actually the first Blue Oyster Cult album that I really heard all the way through. And it's really good. I was very impressed with it. So I was glad to pick it up on vinyl, of course. I really like ME262. That's a great song. One of my favorites by them. Oh. Oops. Here we have 10cc. I got this record at the recommendation of my high school band teacher, the same one that really turned me on to quite a few bands, and this is one of them. He played, I believe it was Rubber Bullets in class one day, and I thought it was really cool, so I went and picked this up. So I always thought it was funny how one of the guys' name was Lal Cream. I don't even know how you pronounce that, but supposedly these guys were kind of unknown, almost virtuosos at their instruments. I can't talk today. Here we have Let It Bleed. This is the only Rolling Stones vinyl I have. I got it out of a dollar bin. It's not in the greatest shape, but for a dollar, what do you expect? So I'd like to get more Rolling Stones vinyl, but, like the other biggies, their vinyl is quite expensive. And with the Rolling Stones and the Beatles, like, they have the British and American releases, and I can't keep track sometimes. So, especially with the Beatles, I always, can never figure out what's what. Here we have a 2-record set by Dust of their first album and Heart Attack. This is new. The original copies go for quite a bit of money. They're one of those bands that's sort of obscure, but, not really, I guess. Sort of like, Captain Beyond and Atomic Rooster and stuff. So both of these albums are really, really good. Some early heavy metal stuff. I like the first album a little better than Heart Attack, but they're both really solid albums. And speaking of Captain Beyond, I have their first album here. I don't know if I can get it in the camera, but it's got the little holographic weird guy on the front there. I didn't really realize that this is what the LP looked like when they first issued it, but you know, I'd been searching around. I had it on CD for a few years, and I've been looking around for a copy on vinyl, and I finally found one, and it's pretty cool. Here is Synchronicity by The Police. This copy has a really annoying skip on the last song, whatever that is. It's Tea in the Sahara. Yeah, it's got a really annoying skip on there. Bothers me a lot. But nonetheless, I believe this is probably The Police's finest work. And it's crazy how this is their last album, and it was like so amazing, and then they just broke up right afterwards. Pretty good. Here we have Paranoid by Black Sabbath. This is one of the ones I just got, you know, sort of a standard in the collection. I love this gatefold. I love this picture of them. And, you know, this has Iron Man and War Pigs and Paranoid on it. I like the unknown stuff, more unknown stuff on here, like, Fairies Wear Boots and Hand of Doom. Those are a couple really good Black Sabbath tracks. And here we have my favorite Black Sabbath album, Master of Reality. This is a reissue. I'd like to get an original. But this has probably my favorite Black Sabbath song. Well, quite a few of my favorite Black Sabbath songs on it. Sweet Leaf and Lord of This World and Into the Void. I guess that's only 3. Yeah, Lord of This World is my favorite Black Sabbath song, and I just think this is a great album. Love the guitar work on it and everything. And here's my second favorite, Volume 4. This actually has a gatefold too, I just remembered that. It's got like the gatefold here, and then it has pages that you turn if they'll cooperate. There's another page in the center. There we go. I've never really seen an album that has that until I got this one. But yeah, I've been on the search for Volume 4 for quite a while after I got Master of Reality, because these two are easily my favorite Sabbath albums. Come on now. Okay, sorry about that. Here we have Chicago Transit Authority. This is back when they were called the Chicago Transit Authority, but, you know, essentially it's Chicago. So, here's the gatefold. By far my favorite Chicago album. I just classify this as a Chicago album. It's fantastic. I actually kind of want to listen to it now. It's got, you know, Does Anybody Really Know What Time It Is? And Beginnings. I really like South California Purples, personally. I really like the guitar riff. So, that album, I definitely think it's their best. Here we have Grand Funk Railroad, Closer to Home. This is the only Grand Funk album I have. That's, you know, just like Blue Oyster Cult and who else? The Grateful Dead, for example. This is another band that I've really been meaning to get into for quite a while. But I got Closer to Home because I have another CD where Sin's a Good Man's Brother and Aimless Lady were covered. It's by an obscure band called Suck. And I really liked those covers, so I wanted to hear the originals. So I just bought the album. And then we go on to one of my favorite bands, the James Gang. I got this album from my mom's boyfriend's mother. I guess her husband, her deceased husband, whoa, lights are flickering. Her deceased husband really was into the James Gang and had a lot of vinyl, and when she found out I was into the James Gang, she said that he had 2 copies of this album, and she gave me one. And that's really cool to me. Like, that, I know that means that she likes me and stuff. So that was a pretty cool honor to be able to get one. Kind of an odd gatefold. This copy, I always thought that once it got to the end of both sides, it like said something like, oh, play me again or something like that. But this one doesn't do that, so I don't know if I just heard that wrong from somewhere or what. But nonetheless, it doesn't have Dale Peters on bass. I think he's a much better bass player. Here we have Rides Again. The James Gang Rides Again. I like this gatefold, and I really like the back cover. This is the first James Gang album I got because of Funk 49, and I ended up, especially the first side, I love the whole first side with Woman and the Bomber. It's great, especially Woman. That's probably my favorite James Gang song. And here we have Thirds. I got this one because of Walk Away. This is an okay album. They play, I heard Walk Away live first when they played it in the key of A, and this one is in the key of A flat. I think it sounds better in the key of A, but nonetheless, it's still a good album. This is, I only need the live album, and then I'll have all the ones that they did with Joe Walsh, which is really the only, as much as I like Tommy Bolin, the Joe Walsh period of James Gang is really the only period of them that I care about.